Good morning, everyone. My name is Natasha Adodo. I am the Communications and Engagement Officer at the Scotland Malawi Partnership. So you guys are all welcome here today at the City Chambers. Before we start the event, I just have a few housekeeping rules. So we have the Wi-Fi that is just right behind over there. I don't know if you can see it, I don't know. People don't hear it here. And there are no fire drills planned today, so if we do hear a fire drill or fire alarm, please follow me or one of the SLP members, which are right in front of the door over there. Our toilets are on this floor, but they're just right outside the exit. So if you walk out just to your left, you keep walking straight, and then the glass door to your right, and it's opposite the glass door. And we have our cameras here, so we have the owl to run at the center of the table. So when you speak, the owl will detect your voice and your face. So for everyone that's online as well, if you do decide to partake or speak in this meeting, please turn on your cameras. I'd love to welcome today our host, well, not our host, but our SLP Honorary President, the Lord Provost of Glasgow, Cllr Jacqueline McLaren, who will address us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Deputy High Commissioner, Honorary Council in Scotland, distinguished guests. It's my immense pleasure as Lord Provost to welcome you to Glasgow City Chambers, a place where we're proud to celebrate our citizens' achievements and welcome gatherings like yours. Malawi is affectionately known as the warm heart of Africa. Our Glas regions are famous for being among the friendliest on the planet. That's a great foundation of warmth and friendship to build upon. Our country's friendships and fortunes intertwined since the days of Dr. David Livingstone. Malawi and Scotland share strong bonds. And of course, Glasgow's and my international office and the education department are proud to be staunch supporters of the people of Malawi. Friends, Glasgow's glad to be here. I'm delighted to be hosting Scotland-Malawi Partnership's further and higher education program. We recognise the transformative power of education, the opportunities and doors it opens. It's a key gateway to success. So I'm incredibly proud as Honorary Co-President of the Scotland-Malawi Project, a partnership, to be part of this important programme of work. It's gratifying to know this forum, which met here in the City Chambers last December, continues to go from strength to strength. Under Dr Matemba's chairmanship, we're seeking to support Malawian students studying in Scotland, something I know Justice Patemba and the Mission in London are keen to champion. So I'm particularly pleased to welcome Malawi postgraduate students here as young ambassadors for Malawi. You have a great deal to contribute. Professors Malata, Chitera and Mulwafu, thank you for taking the time to join us today. I look forward to hearing your insights. My gratitude also to the University of Strathclyde's Professor Morse, where incidentally Livingstone studied, for your contribution. Let's look forward to a meaningful forum. Meanwhile, I wish you a memorable stay here in Glasgow. It's my pleasure now to hand over to your chair, Dr Yonah Matemba. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lord Provost, for welcoming us to the chambers today. It's our pleasure that you always open your doors for us to radio us to come and have these meetings. So we appreciate your being of us today. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to warmly welcome you to our forum meeting today. Let me just check, Natasha, our line gets on. And so we have our line gets on, so I'd like to welcome those who are online in Malawi and elsewhere, and those who are present with us in this room. As you can see, it's a full house today. It's a much well-attended meeting today. In especially, I'd like to welcome our friends from Malawi. We can't promise you the sun, but at least you have the warmth of this room, or you'll be more comfortable being here. So thank you very much. My name is Yonah Matemba. I work at the University of Western Scotland, and I know many years ago, Professor Malata, you were involved in a project then used to be called Bear College, you remember? And then in 2007, there was an amalgamation between Bear College and various others to form what's now known as the University of the West of Scotland. And I'm based there, and that's where I work. I've been working there for many years. And we have some projects there. So currently we don't have active projects, but I'm chair of this forum and have been involved with Scotland Partnership for quite a long time. I'm interested in everything else Malawi, everything else higher education in Malawi. I'm so excited that we're having people who hold the powers in the higher education sector in Malawi, right here, right in front of us. So colleagues, got questions, ideas that you may have. We have our colleagues right here who hold the chair of the power to change things higher education-wise in Malawi. So I'd like to welcome you all sincerely. In particular, the people were addressed specifically that I'd like to welcome Justice Patemba, our Deputy High Commissioner in London. Thank you for coming up here to Scotland. You're most welcome here. I'd like to welcome here Professor Chitera, who's right here with me, who is the Vice-Chancellor of MUBAS. Some of us left Malawi a long time ago, so I'm always reminded because I can mix up with all this. But I was told since I left 3 years ago, there been a lot of changes, including MUBAS. On my right, I mentioned already Professor Malata is the Vice-Chancellor of the newest, one of the newest universities in Malawi, the formerly called MaSP, Malawi University of Science and Technology. So we welcome you here as well to the city chamber, to Glasgow, by the way. And of course, we want to welcome our Professor Mulwafu, who's right here, all the way from the north, MZUNI. I know you've just not going for many years. We crossed back, but we didn't see each other face to face. That's a good thing sometimes, but now here we meet. So he's the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of MZUNI. So we want to welcome our distinguished guests very much so here. You will hear our invited guests. They will speak in turn after this. They'll given a short time to speak, given the tightness of the program today. And I hope that once we invite them, we'll be eager waiting to hear the thoughts that are coming from Malawi, but also maybe we might contribute in coming time for questions and answers. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum is meant to invigorate everything else higher education in Malawi, and to hear our invited guests today who are here speaking with us is an honor. I have this opportunity to invite you, Professor Malata, for the few minutes that you've been given to address us, if you could do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matemba, and thank you all. So I've been given 10 minutes to allow me to go into the presentation, so don't be overwhelmed. My presentation will save me the next 3 days. Slides I'll not right over them because I know they're useful for tomorrow. But allow me to share MaSP at a glance and share with you that MaSP is nature inspired by the Big Five. And then, of course, we are celebrating 10 years next week. So 24th October, MaSP will be celebrating 10 years. So that's why you find that I'll share a progress from what's happened in the 10 years and then what we are looking at in the coming years. So just waiting. As they're sorting out my slides, so thank you once again for having us here. Professor Tracy worked very hard to get, particularly the three of us here this week. So really delighted to be here and for me back home and to have this conversation. As I think you have been informed, I only have 10 minutes. Celebrating 10 years, we believe that MaSP is where excellence lives. And our university, as we've heard, is the youngest in reality, because we have indeed just existed for 10 years. And I know that Malawi's public universities were split. I think now we have more universities, but they have existed for many years. And I was part of the University of Malawi. So maybe not wanting to spend much time. This doesn't seem to work for me. Maybe that's working with the slides for me quickly. And so that's our vision. Let's not take much time on that. We have a mission. I want to emphasize that for the first time in Malawi, our university has decided Mulwafu is a Chitera name. But in other words, what we are saying is over the years, our country seems to struggle with ethics. Suddenly, sometimes you find people just making sure that the place is well kept. So we decided as a university that in our mission, let's go back to our roots as Malawians. Umuntu means that you are because I am. And therefore in our mission, we're looking at Umuntu centric, which is a very unique, I don't think you find it in any dictionary. And then of course, moving on, that's our trajectory from 2012 when the university was established with just 3 programs and then 124 students. We are now close to 5,000 students. Over the years, we can actually see the pathway there, internationalization. So already we have partners here in Scotland and all over the world, but at the same time, the university has grown physically, but also looking at programming. And so we can skip that slide because it's just about statistics. Current programs, maybe not very necessary for today, but I want to emphasize the fact that in our programming, we do have 4 schools. Malawi Institute of Technology, which is looking at engineering programs. And for engineering programs, we've looked at what's missing. So some of our programs never existed in Malawi. When we introduced biomedical engineering, for example, Malawi did not have that program. So it's not about duplication, but what are the gaps and how can we fill them? And of course, we hold very deep into climate issues, and I'll be explaining a little bit more. And then, of course, maybe moving on to the context. So why does MaSP exist and why are we doing what we do? Our context is based on sustainable development goals. We want to ensure that we meet those goals. So in our programming, no program exists in our institution without looking at what are the SDGs saying. But within Africa 2063, the Africa that we want, we've also looked at what is called STISA. So STISA is a science and technology innovation document at the African Union that looks at all science, technology, innovation, artificial intelligence, everything that's coming on board. That's also what we've used. And then of course, SADC and our own Malawi 2063, the Malawi that we want. And I'll be sharing a little bit more on that. Next slide, please. So our strategic pillar, I've said, is about the big 5. So we've used the 5 big animals of Africa to explain each of our pillars. So I'll go through each pillar eventually, but the big 5 is what now shows our existence in a country like Malawi. And we'll be using this for the next 10 years. What does the elephant do? What does the lion do? What does the leopard do? And we've used that then to explain our programming as a university. So moving forward, next slide please, is also the fact that we have philosophies. So our philosophy number 1 is doing business unusual. Our philosophy number 2 is MaSP Education 5.0 plus 5. What does that mean? So doing business unusual, we've changed everything about higher education, and my colleagues who are agreeing with me, a few things that used to happen in our university. So you would be voting for a dean, a head of department. We said, no, let's advertise, people should apply, people must perform. If they don't perform, you relieve them of the duties. So doing business unusual is what we decided to do. So really fighting sometimes when people are used to, doing things the same way. And then of course, Education 5.0 is about not just producing graduates, but graduates that can actually create jobs. And then graduates that can make a difference. And that's what we're looking at. And of course, Solution Match 2030 is our guiding principle, meaning that as a university, what solutions can we bring to the nation?
So we see, and I learned many years from here because I used to come to many of to nearly all universities. I noted that universities here make a difference. There's an impact that you make. And so we decided as a university that we follow suit. Can we bring solutions to Malawi? And then of course, mass tech and innovation. Because we are the University of Science and Technology, we've decided to really work on innovation. Innovation, not just for people to say they have good innovation, but innovation that can transform Malawi. And then, of course, mass remains as 2030, meaning that as we exist, can people in 20 years say it was worthwhile creating a university? And of course, where excellence remains. So when you come to mass, you say where we want to be excellent. That's our aspiration. Next slide, please. So maybe just when a little bit deeper on pillar number 1 of our strategic plan, education excellence. We are looking at an institute, and education excellence is really a cornerstone of our overall mission. We want to ensure that when our students come out of our university, when they get out, they are not hunting for jobs, but they are creating jobs. And if they go on the job market, people should look for them. And we've already seen that. So one bank told me they had interviews, there are so many candidates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 came from MaSP, and they had to make a decision as a board to say, no, we can't just recruit from MaSP. We must take from other public universities or other private universities. And of course, our aspiration is that we should be a center of excellence where people look at the uniqueness of our existence. It's not just being a public university, but we must be a public university with a difference. Pillar number 2 is about research excellence. So we presented with an line there. So research pillar focuses on consolidation of the university's research programming, and of course, we want this to be directly engagement with our citizens in Malawi, and then of course the solution must be the where our research is about solutions to our nation. What problems do we have as a nation? How do we solve those problems? Pillar number 3, next slide, is about technology, innovation, and enterprise. For the first time in Malawi, our programming at MaSP was every student at our institution must do a course in innovation, a course in enterprise. They should actually learn how to create, businesses. And when we introduced it, people said, well, is it necessary? Do you have to teach a student doing medical engineering or biomedical engineering, about, starting up a business? And they felt like we were joking, but the reality is the jobs are not there. So we have innovation, entrepreneurship as core courses in every program, whether it's GIS, information systems, when you're doing medical microbiology, you must do a course in innovation and enterprise. And because of that, we have an industrial park at MaSP, already built, now just finishing. We have, of course, an innovation garage, also built, and we now have companies that come to MaSP to talk about your businesses within the institution. And of course, we also have a design studio, and then we have also gone into the villages, and I'll show you a few pictures about that. Our own speaker of society. So we want to be a people's university. We want to create room for everybody, regardless of their educational program. So we have community innovators program. The people don't have to have a first degree. They don't even have to have an MSCE, which is Malawi School of Education certificate. If they have an innovative idea, can we create space for them in the university? So that's what we want to do. We want to make a difference in communities, not just only in where we are in Cholo, but we are all over the country. We want somebody in Chitera, in Malawi, if you know Malawi, should know about MaSP. They don't have to have a student there. But because the university is influencing, they will know there's a university somewhere, and it was actually created for the people of Malawi. And then, of course, quickly, the next, which is the final slide, is about a lion, an enabling environment. Everything I've talked about is not possible. So like the pride of a lion, MaSP family continues to stand as a symbol of power, bravery, courage, strength, fearlessness, and of course, we want to make sure that we lead in every way. So every investor wants to be ambitious, and I'm sure my colleagues will be talking about the same things. But we do believe in our own way, in our own space, let's lead. And that's our strategic pillar number 5. And then moving forward, on that slide, which I'll talk about tomorrow, is really about each of the philosophies I talked about. So we can skip that for now. And then I want to finally talk about partnerships. So you have been a great partner. So Scotland, Malawi partnership, and I hosted the first office when I was head of School of Nursing at Kamuzu College of Nursing. I sat on the board. I was, I think, chair at one point. But I've seen over the years, the partnership between Malawi and Scotland is a very unique partnership, and we need to build on that. And I'm happy that I'm part of this conversation. We need to move forward. It is so unique. It's very different from other partnerships because this is really about, two people that believe in the same things. And actually, we all want to make a difference in people's lives, and I want to see that move forward. And pick a few slides. And forgive me if the pictures are wrong for your university, but University of Strathclyde, what have we really done? Capacity building, research grants, we've done teaching and learning, curriculum, you've influenced our curriculum, you've actually been part of our examination system, benchmarking of mass programs that came from University of Strathclyde, and of course, I want to talk about the Millennium Project, which I was leading, and they came here several times, Peter West and others, quite a number of people that we worked together. And so our relationship, and for me, beyond math, I must say just for higher education in Malawi, those are the main areas that we've worked together on. And then, of course, University of Glasgow, same issues. And of course, maybe just mentioning the last one that MaSP is also working with the University of Glasgow now, because we have Dr. Miranda who has moved from FEHE to MaSP. And so naturally, and then we also have so we wouldn't be having fun. About it, but it's a study issues, capacity building, research grants, teaching and learning, and of course, I think overall, I must say that even when I was in the School of Nursing, we did a lot of work. I sent many staff members to study here as well. So all the universities, we send staff members, and we have staff members. Even in this room, I have MaSP members. Please put up your hands, studying here. Next slide, I looked at Dundee. Dundee has also come in a full force, and I think all public universities in Malawi, same issues. We do have staff that are studying here, and of course, the same issues. So let's perhaps move forward. So MaSP in action, finally, one or 2 minutes. Just show a few slides there. Whatever I've just talked about, what are we doing? So we have like Standard Bank came to our innovation garage. They had some issues. They said they only wanted to work with girls in IT, information technology, to come up with solutions. So this is ongoing. They've come and 3 students won in the hackathon. Now they're moving forward to bring solutions to the bank in Malawi. And then you see the discussions there. Next slide, please. And then we do run science camp for girls. So you can see me in the picture there. These are girls from secondary school in Malawi. We want to make them about science, technology, and innovation. So we have to start early. We cannot start this when they are already in university. So we normally do this every year with girls from all over Malawi. Next slide, please. And then we have a drone and data academy at MaSP. When MaSP was hit by Cyclone Freddy, our drones actually went on the ground to look at what had happened, trace people. UNICEF have a good publication, and would encourage you to read about what they think our role was in Cyclone Freddy. The Drone and Data Academy at MaSP is an African Drone and Data Academy. So we train young people from African countries. And at the moment, I think we've really reached at 80% of Africa. And we run them like every year and 3 times a year. 60% will come, I think we normally take 60% girls and 40% boys, you know the reasons. Even when our VPs were missed, actually our drones were asked to go and help in tracing where the aircraft was. So it's a very good program, climate issues and agriculture, health, education, and being supported by UNICEF. Next slide, as I finish, I think this is really about girls STEM camp, and I talked about that earlier on. The girls in the football industry is called Coca-Cola, to look at science in action. And then we have also what we call a Dream Academy, issue that we focus on young people now in primary schools from rural Malawi. They come to the university, we inspire them. How many do you have? So some of the pictures there with activities at MaSP, finally, once again, you can just see the picture, just run through them, simple on one page.
For very sort of inspiring and especially innovation when things are going on there fast. And I think it's good for this audience and audience worldwide to hear what's going on there fast. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have the opportunity and the pleasure to invite Professor Chitera to present what's going on at MUBAS.
Thank you very much. So I will take you through MUBAS and welcome to MUBAS. Okay, so Malawi Vice-Chancellor as a university is 3 years old now. We were doing from the University of Malawi and I'm the first Vice-Chancellor of the university. Yes. And we had to change one or two things as a new university and look at where we did. And therefore, we got the next slide. So, okay, thank you. So we'll just talk about the general overview of the university and also our thematic areas and some projects that we are doing with the UK universities. Not all of them, but I've just picked a few. So next we have a vision. And in our vision, next slide, there are 3 ways that we want to talk about, and that's what we are focusing on. We are talking of being an entrepreneurial university, an innovative university, and a research-intensive university. We picked those 3 deliberately. And in our mission, there is a statement that I want to read. The university is committed to providing a vibrant and supportive intellectual environment that produces 1, influential, 2, entrepreneurial, 3, innovative graduates that will drive the pace of transformation. So those are the keywords. We have the core values, not go through them. And then next slide, we have the strategic goals of the university. We have 6 of them to provide equitable, accessible, and relevant education. We want to strengthen resource mobilization. We want to advance intensive research, enhance governance and management systems, but also to promote innovative and entrepreneurial culture, and then to enhance industry engagement and community activities. We move to the next slide. It shows the thematic focus. So our focus is in 5 areas. So we have the School of Science and Technology with the 4 departments in there. And then we are also focusing on engineering, and we have 4 departments, big departments within engineering. Then we have the School of Education, Communication, and Media Studies. Apart from that, we have business and economic sciences. We also have the environment. So these are the 5 thematic areas that we are focusing on. So the next school is just now highlighting the departments, what we are doing there, and also the centers that the university has. So the university has 6 centers, and within the 5 schools that I have highlighted, we have 17 academic departments. And then apart from those 17 academic departments, the next slide shows other non-academic departments. So for example, we have the research and innovation, we have the ODEL, open distance e-learning, and then we also have IT. Then we go to the next slide. I talked about repositioning ourselves as a new university. And that is just highlighting what we want to see as a new university. So for just picking an example, we want to see graduates with an uncompromising commitment to equity, corruption-free, excellence and high standards, strong relationship between teaching, research and innovation, but also offering innovative solutions and making creative contributions towards the end of the system and beyond. If we go to the next slide, We are talking of re-engineering MUBAS now to foster the new character that we have highlighted. So I will go on the next slide. So I want to zoom in on this particular slide within the short period that we have. So as a university, apart from the 5 schools that we have mentioned, remember I mentioned 3 things: entrepreneurship, innovation, as well as being research intensive. And so we had to create a department, a deliberate move that would focus on those particular 3 areas. And those particular 3 areas, we want every graduate that would go in all the 5 schools, it has to have a touch on the research and innovation. So we created this research and innovation department deliberately, and it works across all the 3 faculties. Within this research and innovation, we have, of course, the research support unit. Then we have the innovation hub, we have entrepreneurship, we have the incubation center, and we have the unicorn. Everyone who goes through the university, whether it's just 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, by the end of the 5 years or 1 year, they should be able to do business, create jobs as entrepreneurship, and have the entrepreneurship center. They need to be able to create and generate, that's the part of the innovation, and then also be able to do research. So we have that research support unit. This is a new entity that we have put on the ground, and we are working in terms of how we can move on with that. And we have the unicorn. Some of you, I think, you came and you've seen the unicorn where we have the state-of-the-art equipment in that regard. And it's the drive of innovation, the drive of entrepreneurship. Of course, it is for all the universities and it's for the nation of Malawi, but it is based there. So this is the environment that we are creating in order to produce a graduate who is research, knows research, knows how to create jobs, how to innovate, how to create, and that's what we are doing. And it's not only for students, but also for members of staff. But also, as I mentioned at the beginning, is that we want to be an entrepreneurial university. And being an entrepreneurial university meant that we needed to create companies for the university. And so far, we have what we are calling the MUBAS Commission Limited. The one before this, yes, that one. So within the MUBAS Commission Limited, we have the number of companies. So right now we have 5. So we are talking about the wood tech, we have a mining company, we have the Bell, we have the media house, we also have the unicorn that is also producing services that we are selling to the industry. We're working with the industry, we're working with different organizations, and so on and so forth. So that's what we are doing right now on the ground. So the next slide now just shows the future plans for us for building the university as an entrepreneurial university. It is research intensive, innovative, and creative in nature. So apart from that, if we go to the next slide, we have a number of projects that we are doing in collaborations with the UK universities. We have just picked 2, but we have more than 2. We have the University of Strathclyde. We have worked with the University of Strathclyde for a very long time with the Professor Trustee here, and then also we have the University of Dundee. In terms of Watershed, with University of Strathclyde, we have Watershed, where we have so many projects that are going on in the health sector and the technology sector. So for this one, in collaboration with the University of Strathclyde, MUBAS, we established the Watershed Center in 2003, and the objectives were to build capacity in the field of water, sanitation, and appropriate technology development, but also to conduct research, innovation, and consultancy, and wanted to be a leading research center in WASH in Malawi. So next, we had also a project, we were calling it SPECES project, Sustainable Plastic Action to Benefit Communities and Their Environment. We worked, this one we're working with the University of Surrey. And then apart from that, we go to the next, is the African Plastic Pollution and the Planetary Health Research Network. It was called FE3 project. We were also working with the University of Surrey. It was also Scottish funded. And then we have
adolescent health and well-being project, University of Strathclyde, and this was 2022. This is ongoing up to 2026, £3 million. And then we have the other one, which is DRAM, Drivers of Antimicrobial Resistance in Uganda and Malawi. This is also, we worked this with University of Strathclyde. And then apart from that, we also had school hygiene intervention project. We also worked with the University of Strathclyde. We had an EASE project, same thing, and then we had the sustainable off-grid electrification of rural villages. I can go on and on, but in the interest of time, we will not be able to. So, in other words, why am I bringing this? I'm bringing this to show there are quite a number of projects that we have worked with the Scottish government, and we continue to work with the Scottish government. And as MUBAS, within these 3 years, we have created an environment that will enable us to be research intensive. We have to be innovative in nature and have to be entrepreneurial. And we have created this centers on the ground so that we pick up from there. And from now onwards, for example, with the University of Dundee, there are also quite a number of things that we are doing with the University of Dundee. So, for example, the capacity building, but also apart from that, going into resource mobilization and also different types of research that we are doing with them. So these are some of the things that we are doing under the funding of the Scottish government, and we are very thankful because this research, if you look at it, we didn't put in the actual impact that this research has on the ground. We have the whole district of Chitera that has been changed and transformed because of the Scottish government. We have I think it's Karonga, it has been changed because of the Scottish funding, and we have also the Nirande. There's so many projects that are happening there in the health sector because of the Scottish government. There are so many of them, and we have quite a number of members of staff that have been trained under the Scottish government. So we are very thankful and want to believe that moving forward, we should be able to have more projects, build capacity for the betterment of not just Malawi, but also for the global village. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Of insights, really fascinating to see the range of activities going on there at MUBAS and under your leadership. So thank you so much. This is a very valuable sort of meeting, isn't it? We're hearing all just different thoughts of what's going on in our universities, especially in issue of impact. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Mulwafu, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of MZUNI.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me also join my colleagues in commending the Scotland Malawi partnership, and also Professor Morse from Strathclyde, our Deputy High Commissioner, and also a colleague from the University of Dundee, Peter. I think we work together on a number of occasions, and everyone else is here. So I'll speak about MZUNI University, and I want to start by mentioning the fact that MZUNI University was established 25 years ago. We celebrated our silver jubilee last year, and so in our existence, we have now created 6 faculties, and then we also have centers of excellence spanning across different areas, including water and sanitation, renewable energy, tourism, and also we have the African Center of Excellence in neglected and underutilized biodiversity. But we also have, over the years, grown significantly. We started with only 60 students in 1999. But now we have over 8,000 students. And at the same time, we also were a dual mode institution in the sense that we provide education through face-to-face, but also audio. We were the first university in Malawi to start running programs using open distance and e-learning. And to that effect, we have established what we call satellite centers across the country in Malata, Mulanje, Lilongwe, Karonga, and Nzozo. All this is meant to support our distance learning education students to access facilities in the satellite centers. Let me also mention the fact that we have also, as a university, made deliberate effort to offer education to those who cannot make it full-time through weekend program of block weeks. And so we sometimes also use these satellite centers, but also others come to our campus to access higher education. So we have a strategic plan, which was developed 2021, but runs up to 2030. And our vision is to be a premium provider of tertiary education, which is adaptive research and outreach services in Malawi and the world. And our mission is also to provide high quality education, training, research, and complementary services. Let's move on. Yeah, so that's just an impression of our campus. You see to the top left, that's the main campus. And to the right, that's the satellite, the audio hub at MZUNI. And this is where all the programs developed and sometimes delivered to students that operate from away from the campus. And at the bottom left, that's our new facility, the Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality Management. And then to the right, that's our new library under construction. And I'll be talking about support from the Scottish government in relation to the library that caught fire. But we're hoping that this new library will be completed mid next year. It will be a 5,000 capacity library, one of the biggest. And so, yeah, move on. So in terms of the programs that we're running at University and 6 faculties, those are the undergraduate programs, and most of them have also postgraduate programs. So the Faculty of Education, there we have the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Move on. Then the third faculty is that of Science, Technology, and Innovation. And the fourth faculty is that of Environmental Sciences. And the fifth one is the Faculty of Tourism, Hospitality Management. And then finally, Faculty of Health Sciences. So within those 6 faculties, we have a number of programs that have come to really identify what MZUNI University is. And so we have our niche programs, renewable energy. And I want to emphasize on these niche programs that MZUNI University is well known for these programs, and we have excelled. We continue to do a lot of work. At the moment, the program in renewable energy is facilitating the development of the solar farm. And a few weeks ago, even our president was in Germany to sign an agreement with an investor. We're going to set up a 50 megawatt solar farm in Zozo, which will be contributing to the national grid. And then the tourism and hospitality management. For this one, we are the only university in Malawi offering programs at degree level in hospitality management. And in fact, we work with the Ministry of Tourism. We have set up the National Incubation Center at MZUNI University, where young Malawians interested in matters of tourism come to our university, get the support, and there's a small fund which is provided for them to go and set up businesses. And also, perhaps it may be helpful to note that the strategy for the government, the ATM, agriculture, tourism, and mining, And so tourism is quite critical. And we are contributing therefore to the realization of the national strategy of the government. And then we have also programmed in library and information sciences. And so as institutions of higher learning and increasing in the country, we are contributing to the capacity development of individuals that work, organize information in those institutions. Previously, we used to send a lot of our staff to universities outside the country, but MZUNI University is now the institution which is providing such training. And also, we have another niche area in ICT and data science. I don't want to tire you by talking about one of the key innovations which came from MZUNI University. And we keep on talking about it, but the MyLab, our students developed simulated experiments for use in secondary schools. And so that has actually gained the attention of even government. So the Ministry of Education is now rolling out those experiments, those gadgets to be used by students in schools where there's no electricity, particularly rural schools which not also have adequate equipment in the labs. So they use the MyLab where they have smartphones or even laptops. They're able to access the information and the material so that they can conduct the experiments in exactly the same way that someone can do when they're in a physical laboratory. And we have another program in optometry, apart from the former College of Medicine or Kamuzu University of Health Sciences. We run this program at degree level. And what we've seen is that by building the capacity of those young men and women who can go out and work in different settings in the country, we have also created an opportunity for some of these young men to go and work even outside. We did a small study and found that a number of our former students have gone to work outside the country, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, Tanzania, and other countries. Those that train optometry. But we also have another niche program. This is in security studies. And so we are providing the training to people that work in different areas, immigration, police, the military. They come to study at MZUNI University for training so that they can contribute effectively to the development of the nation. Now, my colleagues talked about also partnerships with the University of Strathclyde, University of Dundee. We have also worked with these universities, and but there have been also partnerships with other universities, particularly in terms of providing training at master's and PhD level, but also some research projects. But as far as institutional strategic partnerships are concerned, then we are really talking about the University of Strathclyde and the University of Dundee. And also, the lessons learned from these partnerships, what we've realized that it is important to harness the interests and capacities of different partners. I think from MZUNI University, we had projects, for example, in the wash sector, and we have also worked with the University of Strathclyde on the Hidden Histories project. And but one aspect that is also important here is that of trying to forge relationships that can be sustained over time. And that going beyond individuals, initiators of the projects, that we need to put in place mechanisms And the other issue is that of working collaboratively so that we co-create the ideas, implementation plans, etc., etc. But also one thing that we noted is that the project-based approach is good and it's quick in terms of bringing in some impact. But it is also important to fit into the broader frameworks, the partnerships that govern the different institutions. And also it is important to think about resource mobilization, that as partners, how do we really work together to ensure that we have adequate resources that can see the partnerships going on for a long period of time. Next. Now, what does MZUNI University offer to promote partnerships? We're saying that we have an enabling environment. We have policies, regulations to ensure that there's compliance with both the standards and legal requirements of the different partner institutions. And for us, we have the affiliation policy, research and consultancy policy, financial management systems, and that to ensure that once we have established a partnership that will operate within those frameworks. But we also have the broad range of programs which inevitably allow for the both individual programs and projects, but also for multidisciplinary research and collaboration. And we also have adequate land, really about 1,000 hectares, which is meant for the construction of the new university. As most of you know that MZUNI University is now sitting on land that previously used to be Teachers Training College. So we do not have a purpose-built institution, university. And our hope is that with time we'll be able to develop the new university at our Choma campus, which has got about 1,200 hectares. And also for future investments, those that require land, again, it's available. But we also have human resources very ready to work. And this readiness is also coming from the fact that our strategic plan has got one pillar focusing on internationalization and cooperation. And it is the desire of the university that we establish strategic partnerships, and those partnerships which can see the university growing, both in terms of the training of our staff to PhD level, but at the same time also bringing in research grants for publication and also for the academic growth of the members. And in terms of logistical support, again, our university is ready to support our collaborators, partners coming. We have guest houses where members can stay. And at the same time, also we have incubation centers. And if anyone is interested in research and getting some new knowledge, we can also operate from that. So this is what MZUNI University is offering, and we want to thank you very much for the opportunity to present this.
Insight from MZUNI University there. Quickly moving on to our last guest speaker is Justice Patemba. If I could invite you to speak, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matemba. Sitting on the table this morning, I see myself sitting among the academia. And I was saying maybe I need also to be one. I was once a lecturer at MZUNI University, then security department. So maybe that qualifies me. And this morning when we were taking a picture, I was standing in between Prof Malata and Nancy. I was telling Tracy that I can't stand in between two powerful professors and they are not one. So Tracy, this morning, I'm submitting my proposal. Train me, you want the professors. Yeah. No, I'm really excited this morning to be among the academia, an institution which drives development in any country. Speaking on behalf of the High Commissioner, Dr. Yonah, who was supposed to be here this morning, but he was not able to make it because of other pressing engagements. But we, as government, listening to the presentations that have been made by the three universities, public universities, you actually see the efforts that are being made by these universities to complement government effort in its quest to ensure that we have quality education. And if you look at the Malawi-Scotland partnership, as I alluded to here on that, it's really a unique partnership. It's unique that it is people-centric, and that makes it very unique because you actually see that it's more of touching the lives and changing the lives of people. And if you look at even some of the projects that have been mentioned by our university that are being carried out by universities based in Scotland, actually see how much Scotland or Scottish government is contributing to the development of Malawi. So your partnership, Scotland, or your intervention, your engagement with Malawi is contributing to the growth of our universities. And this was also mentioned by MaSP, that it has grown because of its partnership with universities here from Scotland. Focusing on implementing SDGs, it informs that Malawi government is moving together with the global vision to ensure that we improve our education sector. And the impact that the Scottish government is making on Malawi students has triple effect. Even if you just look at the table, see how many students are from Malawi that are benefiting from the scholarships that Scottish government is offering to Malawi. It's not only benefiting them as individuals, but the knowledge that they're going to gain from here, it's having triple effect on our investors and even the people that they are serving. So we are really grateful as Malawi that using our public investors, we are implementing what they have learned from these partnerships and in the long run transforming our education system. All the three universities I've mentioned about innovation, enterprise, as the issues that are focusing on moving on from the business as usual that we've been doing, where we've been training our students, that once they are trained, they go and seek employment. But now we have turned the tides. We were saying our students should create jobs and should aim at recruiting people, creating jobs, which is one of the goals of Malawi, to ensure that Malawi becomes a middle income area. And there's no way we can become a middle income country if we do not have creation, if we're not innovative, if we're not creative, if we're not being entrepreneurship, because the country's growth comes with GDP, where everyone is involved in creating opportunities and in making sure that everyone contributes to the growth of our country. As my government, we will continue to facilitate these partnerships because we know that education is key to addressing issues of poverty, issues of inequality, and the health issues that the country is currently struggling with. And we know that education, once we have a population which is literate, we should be able to address some of these issues. So as government, we are here to provide all the support that is needed to ensure that we are making Malawi a middle income country. And they also just to say that the Malawi 2063 currently is focusing on the ATM, which is agriculture, tourism and mining. I'm delighted to hear that MZUNI University is one of the universities which is focusing on tourism, and then MUBAS is also focusing on mining, which is a focus, as I said, of Malawi government. And we appreciate the efforts that are being made by the public universities to ensure that we implement the Malawi 2063, which we think it is going to drive the economic growth and development of our nation. So we are delighted as government that all those efforts are also being implemented by our public universities. And as earlier on alluded to, that Scotland is a strategic partner in most of our things, in most of our especially areas of education, not only education only, health, mining, renewable energy, and I'm sure tomorrow will be able to have a presentation on renewable energy. We see that in all areas that Malawi is focusing on, Malawi Scotland government has been there for us and coming in to ensure that it supports and it implements the government effort. So we are really so grateful. And as we said, there are challenges that are available, infrastructure, research innovation, mobilization of resources. These are some of the areas that we can focus on as we continue with our partnership, so that at least we take them as opportunities, that we can continue to collaborate, that we can continue to partner and make sure that we, as MZUNI said, we move from individual, not only individuals are benefiting, but at least a wider community is benefiting from these projects. So as Malawi, I think as government, that's what I would say, that these challenges that are there, let's take them as opportunities that we can use, that we can turn to ensure that we make use of these opportunities. We thank you so much, especially Scotland government, that you've always been there, not only in the area of education, but even when it comes to climate change issues. You've been the first country to come up and assist Malawi with whatever resources that are available. So we see that we know that Scotland partnership with Malawi, it's been existing before we were all here born, and it will continue to exist even when we are gone. So we are so grateful for that partnership, and we cherish this partnership. Thank you so much for your time and your listening. Thank you.
Thank you for that. For those words, the document as well. In the interest of time, just quickly, one thing that Professor Malata mentioned in some recruitment drive, you were saying something like when you had advertised, you saw only your students and then you thought, let's identify this. One thing in this one happens, and they're so great to see public universities presented here. But I've always wondered that in the Malawi setting, where we have 3/4 of where our students go into these private universities. In other words, most of the people that end up working in government come to university work, they're being trained by the private industry. And I've always wondered, and I had these long discussions with my colleagues here, I've always wondered how best we can include these private universities. This innovation, they need them too, maybe much more so than maybe a public university for obvious reasons. So I just wonder that moving forward in the future, if we can find a way of including these private vice-chancellors and people leading these private institutions, so that they too are training people of our people in Malawi. In the interest of time, I just want to share with you here, colleagues, that when we met in Edinburgh last May, or this May, was it May or March? I think it was May or March. But when we met, there was an idea that came out from the floor. How best can we support Malawian academics or those who are coming here to study here in Scotland? And there'll be some conversations that are beginning to happen. And we had some conversations with our sister organization in Malawi called MaSP, and we put some thoughts, some ideas, and we thought that today, maybe in just a few minutes, I'm mindful of time, but just in a few minutes, if we could share with you some of the initial thinking around what we are planning to do, so that you can also input into that. Can I ask Stuart, please just read on that quickly.
Thank you, Chair. One of the most exciting and invigorating developments in recent times, I believe, for the Scotland-Malawi relationship has been the greater involvement of dynamic Malawian postgraduate students studying in Scotland. And over half the people in the room today are Malawian, and it's fantastic to have the level of outstanding leadership that we have amongst our speakers. Everybody online, of course, is incredibly welcome as well. As Dr. Matemba says, through his skillful sharing, he has surfaced, and this forum has surfaced issues which Malawian postgraduate students studying in Scotland have shared with us. We've heard about the fantastic research across a broad range of disciplines in which you're involved. You've told the forum that international officers and supervisors have done a fantastic job and often gone the extra mile to make you welcome, but that there is a role for civic society partnerships such as the SNP and the Malawi-Scotland Partnership to try to help minimise culture shock and feelings of isolation. So in close liaison with the Malawi-Scotland Partnership and with Scottish universities, the SNP, as Dr Patemba says, is proposing to pilot a Malawian Scholars in Scotland initiative, which will aim to respond in a variety of ways. So in orientation at the Malawi side, we see the potential for Malawian alumni of Scottish universities to meet those Malawians who've been awarded places in Scottish universities for a preparatory session. The aim would be to give an introduction of what to expect and tips from Malawians on how to navigate life in Scotland, including the weather. In a welcome, once in Scotland, our aim would be to meet Malawian students early in the term to offer listening ears, friendly faces, local knowledge and awareness that the SNP is open to and there for them. As part of creating a community, students would be welcome to join the SNP, participate in activities of interest, and we try to signpost to other members within the Scotland-Malawi Partnership in geographical and subject areas, and also signpost to other members of the Malawian diaspora, including the Association of Malawians in Scotland. Vital for Malawians studying in Scotland to have the opportunity to have a voice, and we'd be inviting to have opportunity fully in the life of the SNP, to be involved in disseminating academic findings. And it's been suggested already that perhaps an annual conference could take place. Dr Matemba and Peter were both amongst those who suggested this, showcasing the diverse array of topics being undertaken by Malawian students in Scotland. I think that could be really eclectic and interesting. Opportunity is something that we've heard from Malawians in studying in Scotland that would be valuable. We've heard that sometimes there isn't experience in a workplace outside academia. The SNP has limited resources and limited capacity, but we'd be keen to promote to our membership the internship interests of Malawian students. And whilst we're not a donor and there are a limited number of scholarships available, we want to be making them widely known too. And where we can, within our small team of just 6 people, we'd seek to offer internship opportunities. And some of you amongst us today have been part of the small Scotland-Malawi Partnership family, and we'd like to extend that to others where that's of interest and where we've got capacity. And finally, in legacy, students' contributions to SNP activities, including research, presentations, examinations, would form part of a living archive on the SNP's websites. Students, wherever they are, Malawi, Scotland or other parts of the world, would continue to receive the SNP's weekly newsletter and engage in hybrid events as much as they would like to. And then hopefully Malawi scholars in Scotland alumni would take part and share their experiences at orientation events, coming full circle for their successors.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you. One of the main goals of this meeting today is to share thoughts and ideas, to network, to know who's where, to share paths, so this conversation continues. And I'm hoping that what we're doing here is facilitating that. One of the things that we normally do when we have meetings like this is to also ask our members to share some of the highlights of what they've been doing. And this is the time I would like to welcome the members of what projects or what other things they're doing, connected with Malawi, linked with Malawi, if you would like to share. If you're online, please, you could put some questions on the chat there, but also you could let us know if you would like to speak. Do we have any members here who would like to speak? Yes, please.
Hi everyone, I have been a member for a number of years now in the Malawi partnership. I just find like, if we can't make changes with this table, then we may as well give up. These guys, the presentation is phenomenal. I'm just back from Tanzania, I was over in Tanzania working in a school and doing Kilimanjaro. When I arrived there, it says, by the way, plastic bags here, jumbos, illegal. Illegal, 200 jumbo in Tanzania. One of the things you spoke about was plastic. I thought, Malawi needs to do this. Like today, everywhere you go, people are handing the jumbos. Jumbo here, it's mental. It's crazy. And that was just a thing that Nancy spoke about. The education. When you were talking about education, one of the biggest problems I find in Malawi is when kids fail exams, final exams, any exam. They have to reset, they have to go back a year. I know kids that are 21 still at school. It's a shame on Malawi. And one of the reasons that I've identified is the problem is when kids fail exams in Scotland. I know this, my daughter, who's from Malawi, is now in school in Scotland. She has an assistant teacher. Don't worry about it. You're not going to fail. They don't say fail here. We have additional support teachers when it comes to not passing exams. In Malawi, when you fail, it's on you, and the burden is on the family, and it impacts everyone. Working with families just now and supporting them, with providing them with the extra teachers. But what I've identified in schooling, we can build 100,000 schools. But the kids fail. What's the point of having a new school? What's the point?
Thank you very much.
It's crazy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and those are insightful thoughts. I see a hand there, and then a hand there. Hand here first, and a hand there. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm quite happy hearing from Professor Malata again that you've moved centrally within your mission. I think I would really love to see most of the other investors also adopting similar that was as an employer. By the way, I'm going to gather founding CEO of Comedian in Malawi. Comedian in Malawi is one of the leading access organizations and is some of the MVP program, which Strathclyde, Patemba, and the other were doing in Malawi. So I happen to host quite a number of students from all the universities, especially those in energy, and even others come for their research, research and all that, and even putting some into comedian, but indeed the issue of both ethics usually pops in because you put someone, you orient them on what you work. Next time, after a year, they are leaving and they're even chasing for your clients. I think there is a lot of more work that we need to do on those sides. But quickly, every time I've got the students coming to me, looking for their final research and all that, they usually come with their research topics, which the lectures have given them. Oftentimes, I fail to accept some because I don't see the value of the research topics to the needs that we have as an industry and as an industry. Quickly, I would like to hear from the public universities here present. What critical strategy do you have to make sure that there is that link between us in the industry and the students, so that their research and innovation, which you have highly valued here, not only responds to their needs for them to pass with a degree or whatever, to get a degree, but also to respond to our needs as an industry outside.
Thank you. There's a question there. You'd like to respond quickly? The Vice-Chancellor?
Yeah.
I'll start here and I'll come here.
So I think I'll take a few comments. The issue of plastics, so there's already an agenda now in Malawi, and maybe just to share that must be banned. So we started with our institution. Dr. Gawa is leading biodiversity at our institution, already putting in within her programs now to address this. And I do know that she's been an advocate with others to make sure that Malawi takes this legally now. We want to make sure that we get it actually approved in Parliament. So there's been fights, but I can assure you that academia are running on this matter. Number two, the issue of failure. I also want to talk about that. So what we've done, and I think my colleagues will agree with me from public universities, we have created a framework now for supporting our weak students. I share my story. So I repeated at the last form in secondary. I tell the story to girls. I repeat it. And yet I was the first female Vice-Chancellor. And I was the first, perhaps one of the first professors in Malawi, over 10 years ago. I repeat it. So I tell girls in Malawi my story. So our science comes, when our girls come, and when I go anywhere in Malawi, whether it's in public, I talk about failure. But what we need to do is to support those that fail and to show them that yes, you can fail, but you can make it. And so I do think I chaired, and now Nancy took over from me, the Malawi Institute of Education, the curriculum system. And we were trying to push the same for students that are struggling, can we support them? So we've had programs, MZUNI, all of us are in these programs where we are now saying, even for universities before they come, can they have some support, particularly in science subjects? And now even reading, we have a very, I think at the moment I will see looking at a document that shows in Africa that we are one of the countries where students cannot read and write in any primary school. And therefore the issue of curriculum, because sometimes it's not because they don't have the potential, but how do you deliver the messages? So we are reviewing the curriculum from grade 1, and Nancy now is chairing the Ministry of Education. So it's a curriculum issue, but it's also sometimes just, encouraging young people to say you can fail, but you can make it. And failure doesn't mean that you don't have the potential, but also opening the room. So our university must have a multiple exit, multiple entry. If you fail at MaSP, you can come back. When I was in the University of Malawi, my mother university, you fail, you go. At MaSP, no. If they fail in third year, they'll still get a certificate. So we have graduation, there will be students graduating next year, not because they are finished, but because they did not make it. But we give them a chance to come back. And then we're also making sure that we support them. So when they come back, then they be supported. So if you ask my colleagues here, and I'm sure they'll comment, our universities now, because also our output matters. We want to make sure we keep them. But remember, it's not a higher education issue. It starts very, you have to start with primary education, secondary, and then finally universities. No one masters. So because I failed, and I was given a chance to repeat, and look at that, look at me. It means that it's possible to fail. And it's not always good, you don't have the potential, but sometimes support. So finally, I think I'll stop there. And then you talked about universities, maybe my colleagues will share. Private universities and public universities now have put a forum. We are moving to them. They are running too. But let me stop.
Good news to my ears.
Yeah, so I'll not repeat what she has said, but I'm just moving into the usual research that I will do. Yes. So right now, under the research support unit for us, we've created a fund. So like this is the first year that we've been implementing that fund. So in our budget, we have 20% of the total budget that we have put into that. And then we've looked at the Malawi 2063, we have looked then with the Malawi implementation plan, and we have also used the HTM, the Agriculture Credit Demand Planning, and the SDGs. So we have come up with the themes the thematic areas for research. And that includes, we also have the stakeholder engagement with the industry, the areas that they are looking at, because we want them to contribute to the circular fund. So right now, there is an advert that is running within the university when it comes to particular areas. And we have structured it in the sense that we have the professor there, the senior lecturer there, we have the lecturer, they are both working teams and multidisciplinary nature. And one of the criteria is that they need to have students working on these real life research, whatever impact. And so that's what we are doing. We just want to make sure that the research that is happening there has an impact. But also, we've introduced so if you the fourth years, the fifth years, when they are going towards the end of their school or their education, they normally they have to produce a dissertation. And in most cases, this kind of dissertation is normally just found in the library. Yet you spend millions, especially for yes. So since last year, we've changed that. So for every project that engineering or whatever student is doing, it has to be linked to a member of staff. And it has to have a milestone in terms of an innovation, in terms of whatever, something that will come. And we are funding that. So we are tracing that to make sure that every research is going to produce something that will have an impact on. So this is what we have started, and this is our second year. So that's in terms of research. And so remember here, we are very open and we are discussing with the industry to make sure that we answer to that. And then on the issue of ethics, just to join her, so in our programs, every program has that ethic component in it. Because we wanted to make sure that everybody who goes out of that, any program that we are offering, they should have that ethical attitude within them. So we have programs that have ethics as a module, but we also have in each and every program that we are offering, there are elements of ethics in certain modules, so that if your area, for example, does not need a module specific for ethics, you have that particular module in the other. So we have actually reviewed our curriculum, we added the ethical component, the entrepreneurship component, and the innovation within that curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
Just want to add what my senior colleagues have said here, that in terms of the relation between public investors and private investors, the public investors at the moment, they take in and enroll most of the students in the country. And I think as of last year or this year's selection, we selected more than 8,000 students. The private investors, in terms of numbers, they should be less than 5,000. So what this means that yes, they have their own forum, but also work together as public and private investors to discuss matters of higher education. Now, with regard to the matter of linkage between universities and industry, it's a requirement for most of the special public universities that we undertake needs assessment before the program can be approved. So we do work hand in hand. But the challenge that we have is that, of course, industry is dynamic. Whenever there are emerging issues, we still count on industry to work with the universities. But it's very difficult that whenever there is an emerging issue, that immediately you attend that. And so we're willing to make sure that we incorporate any ideas, any suggestions that may come from industry. It's a two-way process. And then on the matter of plastic ban, I think at the moment, it's the issues within the course. And as institutions, we work so hard to make sure that we preach, or we do what we preach. And again, my colleagues have mentioned some of the initiatives that are taken, but for us as Mulwafu University, we pride ourselves in being a green institution, and we try as much as possible to make sure that we live by the ideas of environmental conservation, including banning the use of plastics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So in the interest of time, because we're planning to end at 12:30. Now, I know we have been networking up until probably 1, and I wonder whether to eat into just 5 minutes into the networking so that we could address quickly some of the burning questions we may have, including some of our members might want to make some reporting. I saw a hand here. Now, I will ask those who are speaking to be brief in the interest of time. I saw your hand here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mine was just to do with the SNP in relation to what we asked, what we produced about SNP involvement in postgraduate students. I understand that most of the students that are coming from Malawi studying in Scotland are postgraduate students. And one of the areas that is associated with postgraduate students is conducting research by the end of the study. As SNP, is it not possible that within whatever activities we're doing, engaging with students, maybe we create a forum whereby students from different universities studying in Scotland can discuss more about research ideas, which will help to respond to the challenge that they have. So I just want to do that.
I think Stuart did mention towards the end, because we're thinking of this social high and collecting ideas. So I think that can be part of that, because there have been others on this table who have made this suggestion. And I think in addition to what you were saying, we will go in that direction, and thank for that additional input, and then we can include that there as well. Yes.
Great, thank you very much. Yes, very briefly. So it's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Peter McAlevey from the University of Dundee. There are 2 roles, Professor of Law and the University's Academic Lead for Africa. So first, I'd just like to say that at Dundee, we greatly support the idea of the Malawian Scholars Initiative. I think it's a wonderful way. It's reflective of the increasing number of Malawian students who are coming here. And anything we can do to promote those connections, I think is a great idea. As colleagues know, that at Dundee, we've invested as part of our Africa strategy in our doctoral fellowship scheme. We had 5 fellows arrive last year, and another 4 have just joined. So the doctoral fellowship scheme has got sort of 2 main foci, sort of not just building human capacity in our partner institutions across Africa, but also trying to develop sustainable research ties so that the academics who come, they can continue to collaborate with colleagues in Dundee once they return back to their partner institution in Africa. And we're delighted the particular forum with the fact that so many of our fellows have come from Malawi, including 3 of the 4 who've arrived just in the last few weeks. And 3 of our fellows, 1 from last year and 2 from this year, are just here. So maybe I'll just ask you to introduce yourselves very, very briefly. Esther.
Hi, my name is Esther Mabedi. I'm from Malawi University of Science and Technology, now studying at the University of Dundee.
Great. Agnes.
Agnes Kambala from the University of Malawi, in the School of Social Sciences at the University of Dundee.
And I'm from one and 7 years.
Yeah, I'm fully committed to your work and to the Scholarship Network.
Indeed.
I think it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is Linda Dembo around online from us? When did we hear some news from Malawi?
I'm around, Doc. I'm here.
And everybody is here with me, and they are trying to hear your voice. So can you please give us a brief, and then you can have.
Hello, how are you, everybody? I'm Elita Dembo, acting CEO for Malawi Scotland Partnership. I'm actually glad that I see familiar faces in the background. I'm not able to see everybody, but I'm happy to be here and to see the ones that I'm able to identify from this end. So I'm sure you already know, and I think it's already been said quite a lot about Malawi Scotland Partnership. I'm not going to repeat what we are and who we are, but I'm just going to resonate what Stuart said. So we are in full support of what Stuart is said about, you know, Malawian scholars in Scotland and amplifying their voices and making sure that the alumni of Scottish schools are able to actually share their stories with those that are aspiring to go and study in Scotland from this end as well. So we'll try to work hand in hand on that as well. And I'm hoping that the faces that I'm seeing in the background will also be able to support us in setting up the forum from the Malawi side, where we'll be able to coordinate universities here in Malawi to actually coordinate and represent the various institutions that are here in Malawi, so that we could maybe also have a discussion from the Malawian perspective on challenges, and as well as maybe we could also talk of processes on how we can develop and join together in order for us to share our research findings, as well as to coordinate well in order to make sure we are able to share the experiences that are felt or are in the higher institutions here in Malawi, as well as, you know, find our feet in order for us to jointly call for opportunities and also collaborate in any responding to opportunities that are on our side from this end. So I'm looking forward to meeting you again very soon from the Malawi end, so that we could see how we can best collaborate and see how we can benefit students, educators, as well as the broader communities here in Malawi as well as in Scotland. Thank you so much, Dr. Matemba, for...
My apologies for rushing you, but thank you so much for that brief.
It's fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. All the best in Malawi, good son. Yeah. I'm thinking of this because it's terrible about itself. Yeah, we have a brief about the schools update.
Well, I was first introduced to Bosco at the AGM. He was larger and Heather to become a trustee. Heather suggested that he speak to me first. So Bosco was the first of the Malawi postgraduate students with whom I've been working with to go into Scottish schools, go into primary school, into secondaries. Since then, I've got a small group. Elita has joined us as well, and Velia, who is not with us today. And the visits have been very well received. It really brings, instead of an almost 60-year-old balding white guy going and talking about Malawi, it really brings Malawi to life for the youngsters. And I think if you go to a local primaries, we went to Oxford Primary, Eastern Berkshire, and gave them a Chitera lesson. I don't think they'll forget the games that they learned to play and how they learned Chitera while we're there. We've also been to higher classes, higher further studies classes. We've got an invitation to go back to the same school again this year, where it really puts their curriculum unit into perspective. Where they're actually hearing it, if you want to pardon the face for the horse's mouth, rather than just learning, you know, from textbooks or from video clips. So actually hearing from the people who are most affected by that. So yeah, it's going from strength to strength. We've been working on SDGs. I'm now liaising with the Children's Parliament in Scotland here. I've got a meeting with Linda in a couple of weeks' time to look at that. In fact, it was tomorrow. It's tomorrow, sorry. That's it, right. So there's things expanding with schools, all really trying to encourage different aspects of Malawi, trying to think more rather than simply about climate change progress, and try and really show the breadth of interest that could be in Malawi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ian. Appreciate that. Actually, you mentioned some of the Elita, and so it is somewhere. Do you have a minute?
Yes, I have a minute. Okay, thank you. Yes, I've been working together with Ian Mitchell and other colleagues, especially visiting the schools in Scotland. I've personally benefited and enjoyed that experience, especially because young people in Scotland are really interested and, you know, fascinated with Malawi. And it's more important when Malawian stories come from Malawians, because we tell it from a very authentic perspective. And in my experience, we tell a very positive story, which is important. So it's been wonderful traveling to the different schools. It's also been a good experience connecting what's happening in Malawi to the Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, we are in the last decade of the Sustainable Development Goals, and we need to keep that in mind, even in our conversations. So I was really happy to see that in one of the presentations from the professors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Prof, I'm looking at you. Oh, you got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Please, a minute.
Yeah, thank you. I think just to echo what Ian and Elita have said, I think engaging the schools has been really important, and I will take it from the point that Justice Patemba mentioned that, you know, the SMP has been there before us and it will be there after us. But I'll add to say that I think where we are now and what we do today is what is going to make it continue, and how in the shape it's going to take. And I think the role that we're playing with Elita and Mitch and Varian is also nurture that interest amongst the Scottish citizens in Malawi, and also them understanding where we sit with the different issues.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Professor Cubie, you got a minute.
I do think that it's been an amazing development during this last year. Bosco approached me at our AGM last year, which was the sort of first stage of this development. And it leads so well into the Malawian Scotland Scholars in Scotland initiative, where I hope that we can transcend all the sort of collaborative and competitive elements that come from different institutions to welcome every Malawian young person who is in Scotland for however long, because some of them it might be very short placements, and from whichever Malawian institution they come from, whether it's public or private. And if we can build that up, then I think the links between our two countries for the next generation, instead of the white-haired people like Mitch and me, will actually only get stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to name Dr. Nipando. Your name came out if you are you online. Dr. Nipando, are you there? Is Dr. Nipando there?
No.
Okay. His name was mentioned. It was mentioned again also by Professor Malata that he's moved sheep. Is there one burning question somebody would like to ask? One question, last one.
Okay, I'll ask a question.
Yeah, the last one.
Just for yourself, you were talking about the solar energy, you know, the megawatts and all that. How do you know that that will make an impact on the load sharing of electricity in townships? Because one of the biggest problems, another big problem is power. So all that investment, is it going to make a difference? You don't know. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's an interesting question. Definitely, it will make an impact in the sense that, particularly for the communities in the north, that we tap electricity from Ura, hydro in the south, and so the lines go all the way to the north. And whenever there's a problem, we are also affected. But with the solar powered in the north, it means that we'll be able to get the electricity and without necessarily depending on the wealth we competed at the But at the same time, other surrounding communities will benefit, because once we feed into the national grid, then it means other areas also have access to the power. Because 50 megawatts is quite a lot, even just for the north itself.
Thank you. Maybe I will pose two questions. Trustee, I'll ask you to speak last. Yeah. Don't shake your head. And of course, I'm going to hand here. And once you speak, Trustee, I'll ask you to say a few words.
David is from the University of Strathclyde. On the renewable energy topic, which has been mentioned a few times, just brought up there. I just want to highlight that Strathclyde hosts the Global Renewable Centre after the Scottish Government. And the purpose is to connect Scottish renewable stakeholders with peers in Malawi, but also Zambia and Malawi. So the knowledge exchange and capacity program from the there. There's been really good engagement from colleagues at Dundee, Glasgow University. So I just want to take the opportunity to highlight that and look for some more conversations whilst Vice-Chancellors and in town, because I know the point of project by project collaborations or individual collaborations, but I think the centre offers an opportunity to create more formal partnerships between your institutions and specific areas that you have USPs when it comes to renewable energy and Scottish universities. So I just wanted to highlight that opportunity. We can look at questions like how much solar energy will help ocean.
Thank you very much. Trustee, you're going to catalyst many things happening on this table as well. Please, you must have 1 minute to speak.
Well, hopefully shorter than that,
Right.
because I'm standing between you and the sandwiches that are so just a huge thank you. What a great turnout today, and especially for those who travelled further than Glasgow to come along as well and come down from Dundee and things as well. I think it just emphasises the importance from our side in Scotland of how we need to work better together. And building on what Damien was saying just there, it's not about Strathclyde or Glasgow or Dundee, it's about how we leverage our universities as well to work more effectively on this side to support development and catalyse things in Malawi as well. And how much we also learn from our Malawian colleagues going in the other direction. We've got a series of meetings this afternoon, and a lot of them are around colleagues at Strathclyde wanting to learn how things are done in Malawi, because realise we've gone too far in one direction and we need to make our way back to sensible solutions as well. So it's really great to see everyone, and as usual I'm very excited about the postgraduate students and how that goes as well. So look forward to chatting to people over lunch, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee, for putting me on the spot. On my behalf as chair of this forum, and on behalf of people attending here today, may I want to thank you so much for coming and for your contributions today. But before we formally close, can I invite Morse, who is the deputy CEO, to say a few words?
Thank you. Because it is an SMP event, we have to promote ourselves just a little bit. And so the first point, the last few points before we do have some lunch, is about membership, because the Scotland Malawi Partnership is a membership organization. And we're thankful to all our individual and institutional members that we have, but we want to make sure that your renewal or becoming a member is very easy. Why there's nice QR codes there right in the middle of the table if you need a helping hand on how to apply for membership. And just to reiterate that membership to the Scotland Malawi Partnership is anyone who has an interest in Malawi who's in Scotland. So yes, if you're Malawian and you're just here for a short while, you can still be a member, and we encourage membership. For us, I always tell people that for us to be able to help our members, it's about the knowledge and the connections, and like anything else, the more you use the SMP, the more you'll get out of it. So, and the more that we have connections with you, the better we can connect you with other members as well. So, yes, in terms of the MSS, the Malawi Scholars in Scotland, you've heard the core inspiration for this initiative. Today, Dundee, we're looking your way because we know how many of you are up there. And so we expect to pull in some Dundee representatives into the MSS going forward. Just a couple of our coming events, but the most importantly, that's going to be this Friday, Professor Mulwafu is going to be presenting a lecture at Strathclyde University just up the road on Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. That's going to be entitled Reoccurring Narratives, Developing Discourse and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Colonial and Independent Malawi. So it ties in very well with Black History Month that's going on now. And so we're very grateful to Wapu to give us that lecture on Friday afternoon. You can still register and attend. 2 o'clock on Friday. We're going to be having a book launch on the 30th of October to our version of celebrating the centenary of the CCAP with the editors of the book of the Church of Central African Presbyterians, a centenary assessment, which is Kenneth Ross and John Ngozi. That'll be in person and online at the end of the month, and we're also preparing for our youth festival, which will be held at Stirling University on the 31st of October for any youth members or school members. And our AGM, our annual gathering, will be held in the Edinburgh on the 23rd of November. So we hope everyone's in attendance for our annual gathering in a couple months' time, actually. And finally, it's just my role to say thank you very much to our host presenters today who have flown in, some of them just arrived yesterday. Thank you very much for your presentations today and for being with us. Dr. Matemba for chairing as usual. All of you for joining us in person, and for those of you online. to the SMT team, for all the help in making sure that the event comes. And of course, this whole event wouldn't be possible without one of our very grateful members of the University of Strathclyde. And so we're wishing the University of Strathclyde every success in the next couple of days, as you heard reference to why many of our guests are here today to celebrate their Diamond Jubilee and looking at their partnerships going forward. And last but not least, to our host, Lord Provost, and her office for making the room available, and for the lunch, which is next door when we closed just now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Except the lunch. Thank you.